I, 20M, don't think my mum, 45, loves me as much as she loves my other siblings, 27F and 11M. Lately she has been making this a lot more obvious. Is there a way I can bring this up with her without causing a massive fallout? So, I'm kinda at a loss right now and I really need some advice. I hope this fits in the sub. I really don't know where else to turn. Too long didn't read. At the end. To clarify, my mum is a great mum. She's done her best to look after myself and my siblings, provide us with everything we need and make sure we live comfortably. She is also always sure to let us know that we can talk to her about anything so we don't have to deal with anything on our own. She was also incredibly supportive when I came out trans guy here. She got my hair cut ASAP, threw out my old clothes and got me a whole new wardrobe and helped me redecorate my bedroom to make me more comfortable. She has stuck by me through it all, come to all my gender clinic appointments and has made it clear that anyone who doesn't accept me is no longer welcome in our home. I could not ask for a more supportive parent. However, she can also be my biggest critic. When I was younger, I was constantly compared to my sister. I never wanted to be girly like her, kinda obvious why. Now that I look back on it, I never had as many friends as my sister, I wasn't as outgoing as her, etc. She's two-faced about my friends, really nice to their face but then would say disgusting things behind their back, and she wonders why I don't want to bring any friends over anymore. She'd constantly compare them to my sister's friends. She doesn't like the fact that my friends are almost all goths when my sister's friends were all sort of stereotypical girly girls. I am not a very tidy person. My bedroom is never dirty or anything, but because I like to draw/paint there are often pens and paper etc. scattered around on my desk. Mum has OCD and can't handle this. I've seen her actually go into my room to look for something out of place so she can scream at me for it. I have to have things sitting she wants in my own bedroom, that I pay rent for. I feel like a constant nervous wreck because of it. Hell, once I actually bleached everything in my bedroom to get rid of a smell that only my mum seemed to be able to smell. She's not like this with my other siblings. My little brother is 11 and I still have to clean his room for him. My sister covered her bedroom walls in fake tan when she lived with us, but mum never said anything about it. At most she just joked about it. When it comes to how I look/dress, she is very vocal about that too, especially with my hair. I got my hair cut pretty short when I first came out, but now I'm more comfortable with how I look and I pass a lot better, so I decided I wanted to grow my hair out. Mum didn't like this. The first time, she kept telling me how I looked like a girl and how I looked an absolute state. I looked untidy, horrible, an absolute embarrassment etc. Felt like absolute crap and gave in to her pressuring to let her shave it all off. There was a lot of arguments about me wearing a beanie indoors after that. I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror. I've cut it into a sort of death hawk at the moment to try and stop her complaining too much as the sides are still short, but it hasn't stopped her. Again, she never does this with my brother or sister. My sister changed her hair constantly and my mum was always supportive of her. Even my little brother has a say in what he wants his hair like. TW. When I was 12-13 I started suffering with depression and some pretty bad anxiety. I did some stuff that I'm not proud of and just generally didn't want to be here anymore. Mum saw what I did, blamed it on the horror movies I was watching and banned me from watching them, and then decided to gossip to the rest of the family about how fucked up I was. When I asked her if I could go to the doctor for help, she accused me of wanting attention and said no. The mental health issues are not much better today. Again the comparisons came up between me and my sister. She would never do such a thing, and I just stopped bringing my feelings up. It was around this time that I started to isolate myself from everyone and offered to babysit my brother, still do it for free, so I'd have an excuse not to leave the house. However, when I started college I made good friends and wanted to go out more, but I'm basically expected to take care of my little brother at this point, so, pre-pandemic, meeting up with friends was quite rare. TW over. I know this has been really long, but I just wanted to get some situations written down to see if maybe I'm overreacting about this entire thing. Things have gotten worse since the world went to hell and we've been stuck at home together more. It's like nothing I do is good enough. I'm scared to breathe the wrong way at this point. My little brother, on the other hand, has been turning more and more into a spoiled brat. He gets what he wants all the time, refuses to do his schoolwork and just generally has a massive attitude with me. I am not allowed to tell him off though, or mum will yell at me. He even gets him to pass on passive-aggressive messages to me, which he loves. I don't know whether it's because my dad caused her the most hassle and I remind her of him. All my siblings and I have different dads. Nothing wrong with that, and we don't see them because they're not very nice people and want nothing to do with us anyway. But my dad caused her years of trouble. I've written a post about him before, but he spread rumors about her, kicked the door down, fought for custody of me just to hurt her, etc. So I understand that she might not like me as much because of all the hassle my dad caused for her. Now, the reason I'm here in the first place. I am saving to move out ASAP. A lot of people have suggested I go low contact with her, but I don't think I want to. We don't have a massive family anymore due to some unrelated issues with other family members, and I know it would hurt her greatly if I stopped having regular contact with her. I also wouldn't be able to see my little brother, my niece or my nephews as much, and I couldn't handle that. I love them to bits. And this would just generally cause a lot of family drama that no one needs right now. However, I know that if I do keep in contact, she'll still find ways to make me feel awful, and it will still affect my mental health even if I'm not living with her. The only way I think to try and resolve this is to tell her how I feel. But that, of course, would hurt her. Is there a way I can bring up how differently she treats me and my siblings without hurting her too much or setting her off and causing a screaming match? Is it even a good idea to bring it up at all, or should I just deal with it? How would I even word it? Too long didn't read. Mum treats me differently to my siblings, yells at me for things that she has no problem with them doing, and has, unknowingly, negatively affected my mental health. My dad caused her more hassle than my siblings' dads, so I think this may have made her hate me a little bit. I plan on moving out but want to avoid going low contact for the sake of the kids in the family, but the only way I can think to do this is to clear the air and tell her exactly how I feel and why I feel like this, but this may hurt her or make her mad. Don't want to cause any more family drama. The only way I think to try and resolve this is to tell her how I feel. I think this is a really naive way of seeing things. I'm sorry. Talking about things helps with reasonable people. Your mom does not sound very reasonable. She verbally abuses you and makes your home life miserable. What makes you think that all of that is unintentional? Do you really think she accidentally sends passive-aggressive messages through your brother? Do you really think she's not aware of your mental health issues if she gossips to the family about it? Is she actually a great mom if she keeps you from developing healthy friendships, actively makes you feel bad about how you look, saddles you with your little brother without paying for it, and blames you for things that your dad did? I think it's time to start protecting yourself. Moving out is very important, as well as getting therapy. No, the realization of my parents did the best they could, but that wasn't very good regardless is a hard one, but it's also necessary. With this way of thinking, you can hopefully see why a conversation telling her how you feel is not productive. You would just be inviting more abuse, guilting, and the situation would change for the worse. Try repairing what's left of the relationship once you have your own safe place to retreat to, once you're mentally equipped to handle it. Don't set yourself up for a disaster now that you're still so dependent on her and vulnerable. As a mother, the thing that made me the most sad is reading how you don't feel you can express your feelings without a massive fallout. I have the kind of mother like yours. It's not the right kind. I have the narcissistic kind. She doesn't care how you feel. She only cares about how you feel in so much as it affects her. No, you don't see how wrong this is for a mother to be this way because it's your normal. You may want to visit the Raised by Narcissists sub. There you will learn tricks on how to survive with this narcissist for as long as you have to. Other techniques to keep your heart and mind safe are grey rocking. Basically, you give nothing away about yourself of any emotional content. I'm really sorry you're going through this. Strongly urge you to get into therapy to heal from your traumatic childhood. Hugs. I think you just have to focus on your life, what you want for yourself and your future. Move out and figure out what makes you happy. After that, she gets visits and contact based on get behavior. If she calms down and makes an effort, great. If she doubles down or doesn't change, then you're in control of how often you want to see her. You can have relationships with your siblings separate from your relationship with her. It'll be sad if she doesn't get better, but you can still live a wonderful life even if she's not a big part of it. Yeah, I guess you're right. Just kinda sucks, like I get a bit jealous, petty, I know, when I see how she is with my sister. They talk on the phone at least twice/3 times a day and they're like best friends. I wish we could be more than that. I'm not really close with my sister, so it'd be kinda awkward going to her place to see the kids, but if it came to it I suppose I could. Hopefully a bit of distance will be good for everyone. Emo, just reciprocate the amount of love that you're receiving, basically be a little bit more chill about it, and continue with your efforts to move out ASAP and then move away from her. You can't force someone to love you. You can't buy it either. It's what it is. Move away, live your life the best way you can, and cut contact with your mom if she's a source of toxicity in your life. With your siblings too, if they become spoiled and try to take advantage of you. Consequences are consequences. Anyway, pointing it out to your mom will likely do nothing. But sure, you can have a discussion if you want to. I don't think she'll be receptive. I don't know whether it's because my dad caused her the most hassle and I remind her of him. When I started reading your post I wondered about fathers, or anything about your birth like PND that might explain the difference in her treatment. It might be about your dad. It might not. Your mother is a pretty poor parent, overbearing and critical of you, refusing to offer your younger sibling structure and boundaries. You wonder if talking to her will resolve this. It won't unless she is able to take on board her behavior and make changes. That sounds unlikely. I would suggest therapy for you though, to process your past pain and learn how to manage your relationship in the future. She did have PND after having me. She had a C-section with me and my dad never offered any help when she was recovering. Just a couple of days after it she was bouncing my pram up and down flights of stairs on her own, staying up all hours with me etc. because my dad wouldn't help her. I understand that he made life difficult for her and she has every right to hate him. Thank you for the input. I've seen a few people suggesting that maybe talking to her and bringing all this up isn't the best idea. I'm hoping to get therapy when I move out, but all that is offered now is video call appointments and I don't want my little brother listening in and telling my mum what I've been saying. Me, 20F, having trouble with my friends, 20NB, understanding that her journey is her own. I have this group of friends who can be generally described as an LGBT mess. Everyone is gay/bi/pan or trans and a mess. Joking. I was a complete pariah and a genuine weird kid growing up who basically completely reinvented myself when I started college. So embarrassingly enough I'm not very experienced at having friends and it is difficult for me to communicate my feelings sometimes. My friend Kay recently came out as non-binary, she/they, and I'm really happy for her. Now some things to know about me is that I have a pretty masculine sense of style, if you can even call it style, sorry, like I wear a lot of men's clothes, men's swimsuit plus athletic swim top for swimming, and I also don't shave my legs or anything, and have a really short haircut. So most people actually think I'm a boy when they meet me until they really get a look at my face. Kay and I have been talking a lot lately about how things are going for her and how weird gender issues can be. She asked me if I ever considered going by they/them and I said I hadn't since I'm not NB. She said, how do you know? I said I don't know, I just know. She said that she felt that way about herself for the longest time until she realized that she just didn't know that there were other options. I didn't really know what to say, so I was just like, she asks me about dating and I'm like, well, I'm bi but I've only dated guys so far. She asks if I would want to date a girl and I say I don't really want to think about dating anyone except my boyfriend. She says, well, to be honest I've never seen anyone who presents so androgynous who isn't NB. I say, well, I don't know what it feels like to NB. Just what it feels like to be me. The conversation pretty much ended after that and things have been a little awkward since then. I think she feels kind of isolated and lonely since she's the only person we know who is going through the exact thing that she is going through. even though everyone in our group gets it in the general sense we don't have any other NB friends. And I think she really wants someone to understand exactly the way she feels inside her head, but I just don't, unfortunately. And I don't know how to tell her that I can't join her in this just because of the way I look. Help, too long didn't read. I'm a very boyish looking girl and my NB friend is asking some difficult questions about identity stuff that is really far outside of what I understand. My 27F husband, 28M, admitted he only married me to make his sick dad, 57M, happy. Looking back, I probably should have seen this coming. My dad and his are best friends. We've known each other our whole lives, but we only dated for 6 months before getting married. His dad was incredibly unwell at the time, so I should have made the connection, but I'd had a huge crush on my husband for the longest time, so I was on cloud 9 when he proposed. It's been 3 years, and this hasn't been the marriage I thought we would have. My husband has kept me at a distance our entire marriage. He worked our entire honeymoon but kept arranging amazing activities for me to do alone. I thought he was doing it because he was apologetic he had to work, but now I realize he was distracting me like a small child so I wouldn't question things and realize he was making the choice to work. He doesn't include me in his life. I've never met the majority of his friends despite the fact that he used to meet up with them at least once a month, and it was his idea to keep our wedding very small. His family have a lot of friends and colleagues. They've never had a small wedding before, so everyone was shocked when he was adamant that he wanted to keep things to just family. I don't think he knows anything about me above surface level stuff, even though we've lived together for 3 years. I know most people who are reading this are probably thinking just divorce him, and I would if things weren't more complicated than that. I'm 6 months pregnant with our first child and his dad's health is still fragile. I don't want to hurt either of our families or cause any stress for his dad, and a divorce would devastate everyone. I wish he had never told me, but ever since my pregnancy, I have been a lot more argumentative and my hormones have been all over the place. We've been arguing, well I rant, and he listens a lot. A few weeks ago, in the middle of the argument, he admitted he only married me because he knew it would make his dad happy and that his family had always been hinting that he should ask me out. I moved into a guest room, but that just made him unhappy and he told me to move back into our room and he would stay in another room. Ever since he seems to be trying to make more of an effort and he claims he wants to work on things. I still love him, but I think I don't trust him anymore. I spend most of the day outside of the house and try to avoid him as much as possible, but he's suddenly always there. Can't talk about this to my family, so I've only told my best friend who already dislikes my husband. So her first suggestion was divorce and her second was to enjoy watching him grovel and then divorce when he thinks things are great. Right now, I would prefer to avoid a divorce. I just can't do it to either of our families with everything else going on. I need advice on if this is something we can work on and if it is worth me giving him a chance, and if not, how do I minimize the damage and hurt a divorce will cause our families. Too long didn't read. My husband admitted he only married me because he thought it would make his sick dad happy. Our dads are best friends and our families have been close my entire life. My husband wants to work on things, but I don't know what to do. I'm pregnant and his dad's health is still fragile, so I don't want to divorce him yet, but I don't know how to get past this either.